Now, let's begin.
Hey, you wake up from a bad dream, open your medicine cabinet, and stare at the miracle of modern life. Pills that fix headaches, creams that erase acne, and antibiotics that literally kill invisible monsters living in your throat. Now imagine living in a world where your doctor thought those invisible monsters were demons, and the cure was to slice open your arm and let them fly out. Welcome to medieval medicine, a time when your chances of surviving an illness were about the same as surviving a sword fight. No anesthesia, no hygiene, just prayers, pus, and pain. And somehow, against all odds, your ancestors crawled through that nightmare so you could whine about your Wi-Fi speed. Let's rip open the past and see why medieval doctors were less healers and more licensed sadists. Let's begin. Back then, science meant balancing 4 imaginary juices inside you: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. If you were depressed, it wasn't because you lived in a disease-ridden, war-torn hellscape. It was because your bile was too black. Doctors followed the Greek teachings of Hippocrates and Galen like holy scripture. Europe ran on a recipe for misery. 1 part blood, 1 part bile, 2 parts superstition. By the 12th century, even universities were teaching this nonsense. Doctors wore robes, quoted Aristotle, and sliced open veins with the confidence of men who'd never washed their hands. They believed draining blood would cool you down and balance your soul. So for headaches, fevers, colds, even heartbreak, they'd open a vein and watch your life leak out. Imagine this. It's 1349. The Black Death has just wiped out half your village. You've got a mild cough. The town doctor, wearing what's basically a plague beak cosplay, smiles and says, "We'll fix that." He ties a rope around your arm, grabs a dull blade, and slices. Blood pours out, splattering on wood floors, mixing with mud and fear. He nods, satisfied. See? The sickness is leaving. It wasn't. The only thing leaving was your will to live. Leeches were the luxury option. Slimy, wriggling, medical tools that latched onto your skin like living syringes. Some patients fainted. Others died from blood loss. People actually bragged about being bled. "Oh, you got leeches! Fancy!" Centuries later, the same method killed George Washington. The most powerful man in the world bled to death because doctors thought his throat was too moist. So next time you sneeze, thank antibiotics, not medieval juice logic. Because the next step in treatment went straight to your skull. The cure for migraines? Drilling a hole in your head. Tree panning came from ancient times, but hit medieval Europe like a DIY brain surgery trend. Surgeons believed that if you drilled into the skull, you could release bad blood, pressure, or demons. They used a tool called a trephine, basically a metal corkscrew for human heads. Picture a smoky candle-lit hall. A wounded knight lies on a wooden table, groaning from a head injury. A barber surgeon, yes, the same guy who also trims beards, sets down his razor, picks up a drill, and says, "Hold still." The sound is a nightmare. Scritch, scritch, crack. Bone dust fills the air. There's no anesthesia, just a swig of ale and a prayer to not die screaming. Sometimes people actually survived. We know this because archaeologists found skulls with healed edges, but most didn't. Bacteria didn't care about your humors or your horoscope. The church loved this though. Releasing demons, they said. Imagine getting a lobotomy as exorcism. Fast forward to the year 2000. 2 people in the US tried this voluntarily to expand their consciousness. So yeah, the Middle Ages never truly ended. But let's be fair. If you lived back then, you'd wish someone drilled your skull too. Especially once you heard what they did to your eyes and other parts. Medieval surgery was raw, loud, and filthy. Operating tables were just benches. Surgical tools were shared with blacksmiths, and anesthesia was a bucket of ale and a slap. They'd jab a long needle into your eyeball to shove the cloudy lens out of the way, a process called couching. The patient sat upright, hands tied, tears streaming. The surgeon, tall, probably drunk, whispered, "Don't blink." Crunch, pressure, pop. Congratulations, you're cured. Or blind forever, blind. Now move south. Hemorrhoids. The cure? Red-hot iron. They'd heat metal until it glowed, then cauterize your swollen veins while monks prayed nearby. The sizzling sound filled the chapel. You screamed. They called it purification. And if you were a soldier with an arrow wound, they'd pull it out with tongs and seal the hole with burning iron. Nothing like the smell of your own skin cooking to remind you life is precious. For pain relief, they used dwale, a medieval cocktail of hemlock, opium, and wine. One sip too much, and you died. The good news? At least you didn't feel the iron. So when someone says, the past was simpler, remember, they're not wrong. Life was simple. You got sick. You either died or wished you had. By now, you're wondering, how much worse could it get? Answer, they started eating the dead. Medicinal cannibalism was real. Doctors prescribed mumia, a powder made from crushed Egyptian mummies. It was supposed to heal everything from bruises to epilepsy. It didn't. The rich drank human blood from fresh executions for vitality. Some even mixed it with wine. The world's first energy drink from hell. Mercury was the cure for syphilis. Arsenic for fever. Lead for complexion. Basically, medieval medicine was one long poisoning session with bonus cannibalism. And for constipation? Boar bile enemas. Yes, they literally pumped pig bile through metal tubes into your intestines. If you didn't die of embarrassment, you died of infection. Imagine being sick in 1400, feverish, delirious, and your doctor hands you a goblet of ground mummy and wine. Drink this, he says. It contains the strength of kings. You drink. It tastes like dusty bandages and regret. Then he offers a luxury treatment, the King's Drops, a potion made from distilled human skulls. King Charles II drank it and still died. Apparently, immortality doesn't come in liquid skull form. By the time the plague hit, treatments got creative. Burning herbs, bathing in rosewater, or flogging yourself in public to apologize to God. God didn't cure the plague. Hygiene might have, but they hadn't invented that yet. It's amazing humanity survived this far. But if you think these quacks were done, wait till you meet the doctors who used zodiac charts to perform surgery. When medicine failed, doctors looked to the stars. Astrology wasn't just popular, it was mandatory. They'd check your zodiac before performing surgery. Aries ruled the head, Taurus the neck, Libra the kidneys. If the moon wasn't aligned, you were out of luck. Your amputation had to wait until next Tuesday. Then came the wandering womb. Doctors claimed women's wombs floated around the body like lost balloons, causing hysteria. The cure? Bad smells near the nose, sweet ones near the crotch. Picture this, a terrified woman gagging on rotten fish while lavender wafts from below. Medicine, ladies and gentlemen. And let's not forget the king's touch. Royalty claimed to heal diseases by simply touching people. King Charles II cured thousands of scrofula patients by patting their necks and handing them coins. It didn't work, of course. But who's going to tell a king he's spreading tuberculosis? Not miracles. Even when doctors started using real anatomy books, superstition still ruled. They'd pray before cutting into corpses. They thought infection was moral decay. They treated headaches with pigeon guts, paralysis with frog hearts, and plague with roasted onions. And yet, through this chaos, humanity crawled forward, not because of medicine, but in spite of it. So, here you are, sitting comfortably, sipping coffee, vaccinated, hydrated, alive. You owe your existence to generations who survived bloodletting, skull drilling, and butt branding. They lived through centuries where doctors' orders sounded like torture scripts, and somehow their DNA made it to you. You are walking proof that evolution favors stubborn idiots. Your ancestors didn't understand germs or hygiene, but they understood one thing: survive, no matter what. So next time you complain about your doctor being 5 minutes late, or your copay being too high, remember, things could have been worse. You could have been tied to a table while a drunk man with a saw explained science. You are the spoiled heir of history's greatest survivors. So go ahead, laugh, cringe, and maybe subscribe to Spoiled Wisdom, because history didn't kill you, but it definitely tried. Now tell me, what's the dumbest cure you've ever tried? Herbal detox tea? Crystal healing? Congratulations, you're halfway back to the Middle Ages.